among you and others in this cyberspace. Now, when you're in people in person, with people, the same thing will happen. Now, it will get a little bit spooky, as they say, when you're not talking, but when you feel like you have mastered your own articulation that allows you to communicate or integratize or relay your ideas, your emotions, your gestures, and so on and so forth. Things around you and in you kind of like start to balance out. In other words, what you feel inside and what you have outside start to balance out, as you would see that, yes, you are getting what you want in your life. You are giving and receiving in this spontaneousness what you deserve. And basically, you're not going to go into this kind of a format of thinking as you go forward that, you know, many people sometimes say, you know, I don't deserve this. Or some people may say, you deserve what you got. Many times people, when I talk, they say, I don't understand what you're talking about, or this kind of stuff don't make sense. And I see why, because articulation is not necessarily what should be said as a script, but it's something that makes sense. So in other words, when people's ears, for example, are so used to hearing things like instruction and they say book knowledge and so on and so forth, like scientists basically, or what happens in the laboratory. It's because people have been trained from the very beginning just to respond to scripts and instructions, or what they might say cause and effect. But articulation, in a bigger sense, in a bigger picture, it's about cause effect. In other words, some scientists have talked about it as, time and space, but when you bring this whole situation in a spontaneous way, or in a spontaneous manner, it becomes time-space. That's what the quantum computers are being worked on to do the job in such a spontaneous way that 0 is 1 and 1 is 0. So quantum computers do not depend on a bunch of linear 0 and 1s to think. So articulation in your personal life, in your professional life, like specifically, when you become self-employed, becomes more and more important because, you know, with a job, you're just putting a piece of your skill into work in order to get the paycheck in place. And there is a certain job, certain instructions are there for you to do the job, and that's that. So you're using only a percentage of yourself in order to get the job done. However, when you're self-employed, you need to, you know, kind of like get into socialize with people a little bit more skillfully, talking to people, getting the jobs from people, promote yourself. For example, when I used to sell insurance, I was kind of semi-self-employed because I was selling the insurance of the company, but I still had to go out there and socialize, introduce myself, this and that, to make sales. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of insurance salesmen or people around doing the same thing. And I realize half the time people quitting with someone and then signing up with another insurance agent because they feel that they're going to get a better deal or a better treatment and so on and so forth. Now, when you have a business, your articulation kind of has to step up a little bit more due to the fact that your articulation now is have to become or has to be at a leadership level, so you get to talk to others in many different facets of the business. If you're a business owner or if you're in the board of advisors, or whatnot, in the business there is a lot more going on. So you have to be a lot more spontaneous and well-rounded, as they say, in order to get the inspiration in place for the business to go forward in a more effective way. And you gotta inspire people in the business to do what they need to do in order for the business to be successful. So if you look at many entertainers, whether they're stand-up comedians, whether they're musicians, actors, actresses, politicians, this and that, you see that, you know, they have a certain knack for communicating, for their audience to be engaged and respond to what they say. They don't force anyone to do anything. So, you're not in a law enforcement kind of a business. Articulation is a big piece of the puzzle that allows anyone to brush up on their success. And how does articulation, some people say, oh, the person has the ability or certain talent Well, that's understandable as well, because when I used to work with kids, I realized that some kids are naturally more articulate than others from, just a few years old. And when I used to work in children's services and interviewing kids, it was amazing that some kids, interestingly, talk better than others. Now, just like anything else, as I mentioned, you need to work on this in specifics in order to develop this skill. And articulation is, again, is an integrity type of a thing. In other words, your mind, body, and spirit has to work in harmony with each other. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Dreams Come True Coaching. I invite all the authors to co-author with me, all the speakers to co-speak with me, and all the event organizers to co-event with me, travel agents to co-travel with me into bringing this platform of Dreams Come True Coaching, this well-defined entertainment platform into place for enhancement and mind, body, spirit health of the humanity, in place for all the humanity around the world, and to expand these ideas in a wider platform. My profile is there. You can do a search and follow me and contact me and be part of this healthy humanity movement with me. And I appreciate your participation in this show. Have a wonderful day. This is Dr. Corey again, signing off. Goodbye. And see you again soon.